какой-то типа психологический триллер, что
This
ли.
is the story of a man
Не
named
пойму.
Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee
Типа он
number
работает
427's job
427.
was simple. He
Офис
sat
у
at his
него.
desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor at his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push
Это
them, and in
спец,
what order. This is
профессионал.
what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Непонятно, надо
And
было
then one
субтитры
day
хотя бы
something
включить.
very peculiar happened. Something that would
Так, ладно. О, починили. Короче, что-то тут замудренное. Что-то происходит, а что непонятно.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard
Погоди, стой. Есть вообще субтитры? Ой, а что так все плохо? Спасибо.
Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
424, 420, 427. Я так понял, комнаты
When Stanley came to a set of two open
один в
doors,
один
he entered the
повторяются.
door on his left.
Пошел налево. Это он говорит. Мы пошли налево. Типа в игре говорится, что у него то есть выбор, то нету выбора.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned
Типа
around
он
and
зашел
got
сюда,
back
но
on
тут ничего
track.
нету. И потом куда-то вернулся, да? Ага.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Он
office.
поднимался по ступенькам. Мы поднимаемся по ступенькам. Это что такое? Ванная комната.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Это секрет.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
845. Eight, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Типа он нажал
He
правильно,
stepped into the
но
newly
все равно все
opened
закрылось.
passageway.
Короче, я так чувствую, здесь что-то надо под руководством этого чувака ходить. самое интересное, нету этих субтитров. А, есть. О, русский, ё-моё. Блин. Ну ладно, перезагрузим, чё. И снова здравствуйте. Достижение.
This is the
Достижение.
story of a man named
В смысле? Заново?
All of
Ну
his
ладно.
co-workers were gone.
Все его
What
коллеги
could it
исчезли, и
mean?
как же так случилось?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
Стэнли решил
room.
пойти в
Perhaps he had
конференц-зал,
simply
может,
missed a
он просто
memo.
пропустил уведомление? Ну такое.
When Stanley came to a set of
Пошел
two
к двум
open
открытым дверям,
doors,
вошел
he
в
entered
дверь
the door
слева.
on his
Ну,
left.
я и говорю. В принципе, было слышно, что он говорит.
Yet there was not a single
Тут
person
никого
here
не было.
either. Feeling a wave of
Не
disbelief,
веря своим глазам,
Stanley
Стэнли решил
decided to
подняться
go
в
up
кабинет
to his
начальника с
boss's
надеждой найти
office.
ответы там.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Пойдя к лестнице,
upstairs to
Стэнли
his
пошел
boss's
наверх,
office.
в кабинет начальника. Ну да, вот то, что мы сейчас и делали, в принципе, то же самое.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley
Зайдя
was
в
once
директ,
again
Стэнли был снова
stunned to discover
ошеломлен
not an
отсутствием хоть кого-то
indication of
живого.
any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who
Шокированный стал
orchestrated this,
гадать,
what dark
кто
secret
это
was
все
being
устроил,
held from him.
какие темные секреты
What
от
he
него
could not
скрывали.
have known was that the keypad behind the
Чего он мог
boss's
не
desk
знать?
guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing
Каким-то образом
random
нажимая
buttons
случайно
on the
кнопки, Стэнли
keypad,
угадывал
Stanley happened to
правильный
input the
код.
correct code
Невероятно.
by sheer luck. Amazing.
О,
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
зашел в открытый проход. И поехал на лифте.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized
Спускаясь
he
в
felt a
глубины
bit
здания, Стэнли
peculiar.
заметил, что
It was
чувствует
a
себя как-то
stirring of
особенно.
emotion in his chest,
Зарождаются
as
эмоции в
though he
груди,
felt
словно он
more
мог
free to think for
свободнее
himself,
думать,
to
сомневаться
question the nature of his job.
в
Why
мысли
did he feel this
своей
now,
работы.
when for years
Почему он
it had
чувствовал это
never
сейчас, не
occurred to him?
задумывался об этом годами
This
ранее?
question would not go
Этот вопрос
unanswered
не
for
остается
long.
неотвеченным.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door
Пошел
that
прямо
read
и
Mind
зашел в дверь,
Control
над
Facility.
которой написано «Станция управления знанием». Станция управления знанием? Прикольно.
The
Можно
lights
нажать.
rose on an enormous room packed with television
Свет
screens.
залил гигантскую
What
комнату с множеством
horrible
экранов.
secret did this place
Ужасный секрет
hold?
хранила эта комната,
Stanley thought to
подумал
himself.
Стэнли.
Did he
Уж
have
хватит
the
ли у него
strength
мужества узнать?
to find out?
Узнаем. Стопе. У нас неполадки. У нас неполадки. Хм. Черный экран. Черный экран. Вот тебе раз. Вот тебе два. Какого-то болта ничего не показывает. Непонятно.
how the modern
Один момент. Черт, а игра не сворачивается ни хрена. Вечные какие-то проблемы. Наконец-то. Наконец-то. Блин, что заново что ли?
all
Ё-моё,
his
вот
co-workers were
дерьмо.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ладно, один момент, сейчас прям перезагружу ее. Капец вообще.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Шустрый малый.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
короче,
office.
там
Coming to a staircase, Stanley
Какая-то
walked
хреновина
upstairs to his
случилась, типа
boss's
того, он
office.
может, типа, уснул, что ли, или его, правда, его разумом управляют,
Stepping into his
что-то
manager's
внушают.
office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind
Довольно-таки
of
быстро.
anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Успокаивающий New Age. В смысле? А почему по-другому? Я же дверь только что открывал в прошлый раз. Что происходит?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Чуть по-другому почему-то. Непонятно. Ладно, быстро сейчас мы ее тут. Я так думаю, она недолгая игра.
He felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years
Читать
it
или
had
сами
never
читать
occurred to
будете?
him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Смотрите сами.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Стой, подожди, а мы вот туда пошли, а тут почему-то написано выход. Ну пойдем на выход. Там что-то какие-то...
Although this passageway had the word
Этот
escape
проход
written
был
on it,
помечен как
the
выход.
truth
На самом деле
was
в конце
that at
этого
the end of
коридора
this
Стэнли
hall,
ждала жестокая
Stanley
смерть.
would meet his violent death.
В смысле? Я тебе не верю, ты просто не хочешь меня выпускать. Дверь за его спиной не
Stanley
закрылась.
still had every
Осталась возможность
opportunity to
вернуться и
turn
вернуться
around
на
and
правильный
get
путь.
back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious,
Решительно
concerted
двигался
effort to walk forward
навстречу смерти.
and willingly confront his death.
Черт.
As the machine whirred into motion,
Приспособление
Stanley
начало
was
двигаться, и
inched
как
closer and
пока
closer
Стэнли
to
медленно
his
двигался
death.
к своей кончине, он
It
задумался о
reflected
своей
that his life
жизни
had been of no
и о том,
consequence
насколько
whatsoever.
бесполезна она была.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture.
Ёпта.
He doesn't know the
Не мог
real
видеть общей
story.
картины, он не
Trapped
знал всей
forever in his narrow vision
истории,
of
был
what this
навсегда
world
заключен в
is.
своем узком
Perhaps
понимании
his
этого
death
мира.
was of no great loss,
Возможно,
like
его
plucking
смерть
the
не была
eyeballs from a
чем-то
blind man.
значимым,
So he
как
resigned
вырвать глаза
and
слепому.
willingly accepted this violent
Тогда он
end
сдался с
to his
готовностью
brief
принять
and shallow
жестокий
life.
конец. Нет, я не хочу.
Farewell, Stanley.
Я не хочу. Можно я выпрыгну отсюда? А, черт! Выпрыгни отсюда. Прыжок не работает.
Farewell, Stanley,
Прощай,
cried the
Стэнли,
narrator,
воскликнул
as
рассказчик.
Stanley was led
С
helplessly
помощью
into the
отправился в
enormous
огромную
metal
металлическую пасть.
jaws. In a
Ты жизнь.
single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Убила его. Сломала все кости. Но я не умер.
And yet it would be just a few
Но всего
minutes
через пару
before
минут Стэнли
Stanley
начнет
would
игру
restart
снова.
the game,
Снова
back
будет
in
в
his
своем офисе
office,
живой, как
as
и раньше.
alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was
Это
going to
жизнь.
accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance,
Смерть
death
становится
becomes
бессмысленной,
meaningless,
значит и жизнь
making
тоже.
life the
Вот,
same.
самые первые
Do you see
двери.
now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment
Он
he
был
hit
мертв еще с того
start?
момента, как игра началась. Я-то был мертв уже. Нажмите кнопку. The sound game is button up pressed. Each sound is mix, skateboard, strong and synchronized tone. Короче, какой-то по звукам. Синхронизировать. Я недопонимаю. Бред какой-то. Я недопонимаю. Warzone. Call of Duty, что ли? Warzone. Номер 1112800. От Энтони. Subject. What is this strange number? Что за странный номер? Последнее предупреждение. Skeleton inside of you. This world and human. Спасибо, пока. Что-то какой-то скелетон. Я так и не понял. Блин, он не прыгает ни хрена. Три разные какие-то карты. Типа выходов. Тоже непонятно. Денег levers. These levers were originally part of the... Короче. По цвету что-то. А чё, я не могу ничего с ними сделать? Чё-то бред какой-то. О. А чё ты выключилось? Ну-ка вылези. О, выход.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one
Как же они
another.
хотят уничтожить
How
друг
they
друга,
wish to
хотят управлять
control
друг
one
другом.
another. How they both wish
Как
to
им
be
хочется...
free.
Я
Can you
нажал.
see? Can you see how
Сколько они
much they
нужны друг
need
другу,
one another?
понимаете?
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Некоторые вещи нельзя увидеть.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the
Все еще
program
можете
before they
спасти
both
обоих.
fail.
Выключить программу до
Push
того, как они
escape
оба
and
снова
press quit.
проиграют. Нажмите
There's
Escape,
no other way to beat
выберите
this
выйти,
game.
иначе
As
эту
long as
игру
you
не
move
пройти.
forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only
Пока вы
true
двигаетесь
choice.
вперед, вы идете по
If you
чьему-то
don't
пути,
choose it,
остановитесь.
don't let time choose for you.
Не хочу
Don't
я
let
ее.
time
Теперь я точно умер? Бля, точно умер. Ебать. Жесть вообще. Ладно.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Теперь,
What
наверное,
could
по
it
другому
mean?
пути пойдем.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this
Слева.
was not
Я
the
не пойду
correct way
слева.
to the
Это был
meeting
неправильный
room,
путь.
and Stanley
Конференц-зал.
knew it perfectly well.
Признал.
Perhaps he wanted to
Он
stop
хотел
by the
искать
employee
комнату отдыха,
lounge first,
полюбоваться ею.
just to admire it. Ah, yes,
Комната
truly a
действительно достойна
room worth
восхищения.
admiring.
Провести несколько
It had
мгновений
really been
безупречно
worth the
прекрасно
detour
сделанной
after
комнате.
all,
Определенно
just to
стоило
spend a few
выбора
moments here
обходного
in this
пути.
immaculate, beautifully constructed room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Но желая вернуться.
And so he detoured through the maintenance
Так он
section,
прошел в
walked straight
обход через
ahead to
комнату
the
обслуживания,
opposite door,
прошел
and
прямо
got
в
back
открытую
on
дверь,
track.
напротив вернулся на правильный путь. Окей. Походу нас тут будут прям подкидывать
But Stanley didn't
на
want to go back to
плохие
the
пути.
office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go from here it's oh no, it's to the right. My mistake.
В смысле? А я хочу налево. Почему мне направо-то?
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Вот дает.
Now, let's see. We went down right, down, left, right. Yep,
Он
okay.
издевается.
Yes, I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Definitely. Ладно, поверим тебе. О,
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler.
в
Quick,
смысле?
Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding?
103,
It's all rubbish
104,
now.
Fired.
Whole story completely unusable.
104
How
комната.
about, rather than waste
Блин.
my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm?
И
Okay,
601
from the
комната.
top. All of his co-workers were gone.
104 и
What could it
601.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Все то же самое. Так, справа мы, получается...
When Stanley... Wait.
Стоп.
What? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did
Почему?
something change?
Что-то
Stanley,
поменялось.
did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or...
Куда ты увел
Why
историю?
am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay,
Ну,
then. It's an
открой мне дверь.
adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's
Ага.
find the story.
Начнем с правой. Твою дивизию. Я что-то прям запутался. Ё-моё. Ты прикалываешься надо мной, что ли? Ёпта. Жескач.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can
Худшее.
promise you there definitely was a story here
Стоп.
before.
Туда
Do
мы
we just-
пошли.
Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again. But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Так, мы здесь были. Что ты меня опять перезапустил? Ты.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from.
Через дверей
Why
нет.
don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
И куда ты мне предлагаешь двигать? Обратно? Хм.
Aha! I knew we'd miss
Пропустили. История
something.
сейчас
The
будет.
story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Это жесть.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
История была в офисном
Do you
здании,
remember,
верно?
Stanley?
А ты помнишь,
Well,
Стэнли?
do you know what? Since I've
Знаешь, что
completely
я,
forgotten what
раз
we were
я
supposed
совершенно
to be
забыл,
doing,
что мы должны
how
были
about
делать.
this?
Сделаем так.
You win! Congratulations! I
Я
know you
выиграл.
put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
Ни хрена.
Oh no, no, I don't
Нет,
feel right about this
это
at
все
all.
неправильно. Мы
We
оба
both
знаем, что
know
ты
you
ничего
didn't
для
put
этой
in
победы
any
не
actual
делал.
work for that
Некоторые
win.
люди побеждали
Some
честно, а у
people
нас с
win
тобой
fair and
явно не
square,
тот случай.
and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Вот дает.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get
Чтоб не
lost, I've
заблудился.
employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Прикольно.
You see, the line knows
Эта
where the
история, она
story
вот
is.
там.
It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought.
Хотя тут
Wouldn't
подумал,
wherever we end up be
будет
our
ли место, куда
destination,
мы
even if there's no story
придем
there?
к нашему
Or to put it another way,
предназначению.
is the story of no destination still a story?
Останется ли история
Simply
без
by the
места?
act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being
Ёпта,
via
нарисовал.
the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to
Ё-моё.
apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Музыки не хватает. Ты жесть вообще. Вот он у меня был. Стоп. Я определенно видел там проход. Смотри, что делает, да? Во жесть.
Cut the music. Go
Cut
back
музыку, вернись
and look at
назад,
that
посмотри на
fern.
папоротник.
Stanley, this fern will be
Очень
very
важным элементом
important
истории.
later
Внимательно
in
его
the
рассмотри,
story.
запомни все для
Make
мельчайших
sure you
деталей.
study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ладно. Папоротник. Запомнили? Запомнили. Ни хрена мы не запомнили. 3 большие ветки. Да, 3 большие ветки.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line.
Снова вернулись
You
в
do
офис.
know
Нет,
we're
нет,
looking
нет.
for the Stanley Parable,
Знаешь,
right?
что Стэнли
The
Парабл
story?
ищем, верно?
Is any of this
Историю
ringing a
ничего не
bell?
напоминает? О, да. А вон нижний этот. 104-й, 601-й.
Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ты меня... Ты издеваешься надо мной?
You know
Мучаешь.
what, Stanley? I say
Твое
forget
забытие
the
полностью
adventure line.
приключение, что
What's
оно
it
для
ever
нас
done
хорошо
for us?
сделало.
We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
437-я. Запомним.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley
Строящий свой
forging a
путь,
new
свою
path,
историю,
a
можем
new
придумать
story.
что
Well, it could be
угодно.
anything. What do you want our story to be?
Как бы ты хотел сделать
Go
нашу историю?
wild.
Вперед!
Use
Дай
your
волю фантазии.
imagination.
Что бы ты ни
Whatever
выдумал,
it might
Стэнли,
be,
я готов
Stanley,
это увидеть.
I'm ready for it.
Окей, давай посмотрим, что ты там нам придумал.
Oh, no, not you again.
Ё-моё.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
Офигенная
No
история,
lines
никакой
or
полосы,
monitor
никаких
rooms.
комнат с
Just
мониторами.
don't acknowledge it. We should be
Просто не
fine.
обращай на нее внимания, все будет хорошо. Че нарисовали ее?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Сделать
From
выбор.
here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our
Это, в свою очередь,
destination
значит, наше место
corresponds with
предназначения
the
соответствует
counter-inverted
обратному
reverse door's
инвертированному
origin.
происхождению
So
двери.
starting from the right,
Значит,
let
если
us
начать
ask,
справа,
will taking the
нужно
right
задать
door
вопрос, приведет ли
lead
нас
us to
прям
where we're
правая
going?
дверь туда, куда мы
And since
собирались
the
прийти.
answer is clearly
Раз
yes,
очевидный
then by
ответ
all
является да,
accounts,
значит, по
the
всей
door
логике
on the
правая
right
дверь
is the
является
correct
правильной.
one.
Еще одна
Another victory
победа
for logic.
на
Come,
счету
Stanley,
логики.
our destiny awaits.
Ладно, пойдем.
Oh, hold up, what's this?
Играешь
The
16 минут.
confusion ending. You're telling me that's what
Первый
this is?
рестарт.
It's all one giant ending?
Одна большая концовка.
And we're
Нам нужно
supposed to restart the
перезагружать
game
игру
what,
сколько?
eight
8
times?
раз.
That's really how all this goes? It's all
Все это предопределено.
determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to
Пятый,
forget?
шестой, седьмой,
My
восьмой
mind
раз.
goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well,
Соответственно, потому что
consulted
так,
me.
а меня
Why
кто-то
don't I
спрашивал,
get to decide?
почему я не совершаю
Why don't
выбор,
I
почему
get a
я
say
не
in
могу
all of
ничего
this?
решить.
Is it
Неужели?
No, it can't be. I don't want
Нет,
it
не
to
может
be.
быть. Не
I
хочу,
don't want
чтобы
the
так
game to
было. Не
keep
хочу, чтобы игра
restarting. I
перезагружалась. Не
don't want
хочу
to
забывать
forget
о том,
what's
что
going on.
произошло. Не хочу быть
I don't want to be
такой
trapped like
ловушкой.
this.
Я не
I
перезагружу
won't
игру. Не
restart
буду.
the game.
Не
I
стану.
won't do it. I won't do it. I
Как
won't
скажешь.
do it.
Как
And
скажешь.
the timer stopped.
Значит, у
Does
нас
that
получилось.
mean,
Мы сломали цикл.
did we do it? Did
Что бы
we
это ни
break the
было,
cycle? The
что сделало это
whatever it
расписание.
is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
Что произойдет?
So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you
Fusion
agree?
ending.
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey.
Вот он
Though they're
болтает.
always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have...
Ой. Нас перезагрузило.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an up. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
А мы не будем подниматься.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his
Представил, как будет
boss,
стоять перед
admitting he
начальником,
had left
признавать,
his
что
post
покинул свое
during
место
work
рабочее.
hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
Его могут за
why
это
had he
уволить.
taken that risk? All because he
В такой
believed
конкуренции не стоило
everyone
рисковать.
had vanished.
Просто потому, что
His
ему
boss would
показалось, что
think he
все
was
вокруг исчезли.
crazy.
Начальник посчитает
And
его
then something
сумасшедшим.
occurred to Stanley.
Задумался, может быть, подумал он, может, я
Maybe,
действительно
maybe
тронулся,
I
все
am
мои
crazy.
знакомые просто так взяли и
All of my
исчезли,
co-workers
без всякой на
blinking
то причины.
mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see
смысле?
his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself,
Какого
this is
хрена
all
происходит,
too
не пойму.
strange, this can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Какого
So,
хрена?
he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still
Почему
not
сон
woken
был
up.
настолько
How
четким?
was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself
Ах ты,
sooner.
блин.
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now
Делаю
the
ли
voice was
думаю? Ну да,
describing itself
прикольно.
being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course,
Это был
this
типа
was
не
not
сон.
a dream.
Как же так?
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving
Неужели
himself,
Стэнли просто
believing that
обманывал
if
себя,
he's
убеждая
asleep, he
себя,
doesn't have to
что он
take
спит,
responsibility for
чтобы не
himself?
принимать ответственность за
Stanley
поступки?
is as awake right now
Был в
as
сознании
he's
сейчас
ever
так же,
been
как
in
был
his
всегда в
life.
своей жизни.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words
Услышав,
was
как
quite a
голос
shock to
проговаривает эти слова,
Stanley.
Стэнли был шокирован.
After
Все
all,
же
he
он
knew
был
for
абсолютно
certain,
уверен,
beyond
что
a
все
doubt,
это было
that
сном.
this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he
Докажет,
was
что он
in
может
control,
управлять,
that this
что
was a
это был
dream.
только сон.
So he closed his eyes gently.
Он медленно закрыл
And he
глаза и
invited
настроился,
himself to
что
wake up.
проснется.
He felt the cool
Почувствовал
weight of the
легкий вес
blanket on his skin,
одеяла на
the
коже.
press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my
Хочу свою
wife.
квартиру, свою жену и
and
свою
my
работу.
job.
Хочу, чтобы моя жизнь была
All I
такой, какой
want
она
is
была
my
всегда.
life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Но ничего не поменялось.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Стало темно.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was
Она обнаружила
interrupted by
труп
the
мужчины,
body of a
который до этого
man
шатаясь
who
шел
had
по городу,
stumbled through
бормоча и
town,
крича что-то
talking
непонятно
and
только ему
screaming to
самому.
himself,
Потом
and
он
then
упал
collapsed
замертво
dead
на
on the
тротуар.
sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to
Через
go
пару
call for
мгновений она
ambulance, for
побежит
just a
вызвать
few
скорую. На
brief
несколько
moments,
секунд
she
она стояла и
considered the
думала об этом
strange
странном
man.
мужчине.
He was obviously crazy. This much
Точно
she
был
knew.
сумасшедшим.
Everyone
Вот это
knows what
она
crazy
была
people
уверена.
look like.
Знает, как
And in
выглядит
that
сумасшедшие.
moment, she
Тогда она
thought to
подумала,
herself
насколько
how
же
lucky
хорошо,
she
что она
was to be
нормальна.
normal. I am sane.
Я
I
психически
am
здорова,
in
управляю своими
control
мыслями,
of my
понимаю, что
mind.
настоящее, а что нет.
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this.
В этом
And in a
было
certain way,
принято
seeing
думать.
this man made her feel
Приятно
better.
думать, в каком-то роде
Then she
стало
remembered the
легче
meeting she
от
had
вида этого человека.
scheduled
Но
for
тогда
that
Мариэлла
day.
вспомнила, что
The
у нее
very important
была
people
запланирована
whose
встреча с очень
impressions of
важными
her
людьми,
would
мнение
affect her
которых было
career, and by
Могло
extension,
было
the rest of her
повлиять на ее
life.
карьеру,
She
значит,
had
на
no
всю
time
ее
for
оставшуюся
this,
жизнь.
so it
У
was
нее не
only
было
a
на это
moment
времени, так
that
что
she
она
stood
стояла,
there,
глядя на тело
staring
всего
down at the
мгновения.
body. And then she turned and ran.
Развернулась и побежала. И я не знаю. Походу, мы прошли ее. Мы умерли.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Все, коллеги
What
исчезли.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Уже по-другому совсем.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Do not alter without. Нет, что-то альтернативный выход. Conceding whiteboard manager. Кто двигает мою доску?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ну, поднялись мы.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Бла-бла-бла, говорит.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large
Вот
door
эта
that
комната,
read
наконец-то.
Mind Control Facility.
Комната с этими...
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Мы
What
были там,
horrible secret did this
сверху.
place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Эмплоя. 197. 600. Не вижу. 103, 104. Вот. Нет. Выход 105 горит комната, получается. 234 не показывает номер.
This mind control facility. It
Станция
was too
управления сознанием
horrible to
слишком
believe
ужасна,
it
чтобы
couldn't be
поверить, не могло
true.
бы быть
Had
правдой.
Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Че это такое, непонятно вообще. А вон 5-я кнопка какая-то. Стоп. Типа кнопки надо по очереди, наверное, нажать. Первая, вторая. Первая, вторая. Третья. Четвертая. Пятая.
And when at last he found the source of the room's
Нашел источник
power,
питания
he
комнаты.
knew it was his duty, his
Установить это ужасное место и
obligation
все.
to put an end to this horrible...
Я нечаянно
Stanley,
нажал.
You didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Я нечаянно.
Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without
Ёпты.
proper DNA
Проверка ДНК
identification,
активизируется
it could
ядерный детонатор,
detonate
уничтожает весь
itself,
комплекс.
eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. but I'm enjoying it so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea
Короче,
what
я
your purpose
так
in this
понял,
place
тут
is?
что-то надо.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment you begin until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Я нажимал. Я черт его знает.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Это жесть вообще.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
Пиздец. Игра, конечно, заставляет побегать. Все это предопределено уже игрой. Но тоже зависит что-то от твоих каких-то движений, действий. Непонятно. Нет, пожалуй, я пойду. Блин, дверь закрылась.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals
Типа комнаты каждого этого работника идет.
Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Довольно-таки непонятно.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe
Чё ж
it
прикол
couldn't be
здесь-то?
true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the
Чё
only reason he
прикол?
was happy with his
Прикол.
boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
Never.
Wasn't it? Was it even
Never.
possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking,
Я тогда нажал
eating,
включить.
working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Нечаянно
And as the
нажал.
cold reality of his
Попробуем
past
сейчас
began to sink
отключить.
in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over
И мы начнем заново, 100 пудов.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Птицы летают.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Я выбрался,
That was
ёпта.
all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Стэнли был счастлив. Игра пройдена. Неплохо. Конечно, там 100 пудов какие-то секретики еще есть. Вот. 100
All
пудов.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Недостижимые. Ну, мне кажется, тут еще какие-то есть секретики. Только непонятно почему.
When Stanley came to a set
так
of two
сделаем
open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he
Если он
wanted to
сейчас-
stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ну
Wow.
да, игра заново
Yes,
началась, походу.
this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions,
А
it's
вот здесь мы
incredible
не
he
были.
wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Эй, склад
I'm
какой.
not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Ёб твою налево, что ты
That's
так
her,
пугаешь
Stanley.
меня.
You need to be the one to...
Алло? Алло?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha!
Ух ты,
Oh,
блядь.
come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story
Грустная
about
история
the
смерти
death
человека по
of a
имени
man
Стэнли.
named Stanley.
Доброе утро, работник 427. Нажмите P на клавиатуре.
Станley is quite a boring
Было
fellow.
очень скучным,
He
его
has a
работа
job that demands
от
nothing
него
of
ничего не
him,
требовала, и
and
каждая его
every
нажать
button that he
кнопка
pushes
напоминала
is a reminder of the
незначительность его
inconsequential
существования.
nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly
Стоящий,
what he's
нажимающий на
told to
кнопки,
do.
выполняющий все,
Now
что от
he's
него
pushing a
требует. Теперь он
button.
нажал на кнопку.
Now he's eating lunch.
Теперь он ест
Now
обед.
he's going
Теперь он
home.
идет домой. Теперь
Now
он
he's
возвращается на
coming
работу.
back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Сам выбрал такую жизнь.
But in his mind, in his
На
mind, he can go on
в своей фантазии он
fantastic
отправлялся в
adventures.
увлекательные
From behind
приключения.
his desk,
За своим
Stanley
столом Stanley
dreamed of
представлял
wild
искусственные
expeditions
экспедиции в
into the
неизведанные края,
unknown,
удивительные открытые новые земли,
fantastic discoveries of
открытие новых
new
земель. Это было
lands. It
прекрасно.
was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize
Он
about his
начал
own job.
фантазировать о своей работе. Сначала
First,
он
he
представил,
imagined
что
that
однажды на
one day
работе он
while at
встал
work,
из своего
he
стола и
stepped up from
обнаружил,
his
что
desk
все его
to
коллеги и его
realize that all
начальник
of his co-workers, his boss,
исчезли.
everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Притча о
It
Стэнли.
was such
Какой-то
a
младенец,
wonderful
непонятно.
fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. He won't listen to me. He won't stop.
Такие
Here, watch this.
размышления
Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a
о
button,
жизни, о
do not
бытие,
do
то,
it.
что все это бессмысленно,
You see? Can he just not hear me?
все это
How can I tell
тлен,
him in a way that he'll understand that every second he
что от него не
remains here,
зависит
he's
ничего
electing to
совсем.
kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Хм.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Да, игра довольно-таки заставляет подумать.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
Двери уже
perfectly
нет.
well.
Здесь было
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
4Б9. 4-5.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
413. Зеленая, зеленая. Картины меняются. Блять.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up. Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Жесть, конечно.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Фига он там расплющил.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
А вот и коридорчики. Вот отсюда я иду. Иду направо. Там закрыто. Вот она комната. Проход направо. Прямо. Коридор. Большая комната. Ну вот туда мы не ходили, по-моему. Офисные часы. Mind Control и Escape. Ну вот этот выход был, да.
Stanley walked through the green door.
Он где-то говорит.
Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him? For all his button pushing. Does that sound plausible to you?
Непонятно. Босс-офис у нас был только красный, да? И их еще два разных должно быть. И две кнопки, одна вверх. Четыреста какая-то комната тоже разбитая должна быть. А зеленый, красный, желтый 427. Желтая, желтая. И без ничего, да? Два компа, один комп, один. И телефон включен. Блин, номер 111. 8 что-то там. Мы зависли. Ладно. Закончим, наверное, на этом. Продолжим, наверное, завтра. Посмотрим, что там вообще в этой игре. Что там интересного. Может, еще пару каких-то приколов найдем. Ладно. Всем спасибо. Всем пока. Спокойной ночи.